Hello, my name is John Stuvey, and I'm the manager of Automation Anywhere training, and this is Building Bots in Enterprise A2019. Our agenda today, we will be going an overview over our plugin architecture, our bot agent, the cloud-based workbench, and then finally we'll demo creating a bot using an IT Bricks example. Our plugin architecture reduces our total cost of ownership by abstracting our packages and actions, or the steps a bot will take during its process, into cloud-based artifacts. And then the bot agent foundation resides on the bot runner machine or the bot creator machine, and that's going to be interacting with the desktop. By doing that abstraction, we're able to install, deploy, maintain, and scale much easier with this new version. Our bot agent is easily deployed via the web. It installs as a single service on device, which enables both recording and playback. The Java runtime engine is included as part of our package, and it communicates directly with the control room so that there's always maintained communication with the control room for any deployment type requirements. The communication between the workbench and the cloud-based workbench and the bot agent is continuous. Oftentimes, we'll need to communicate with our desktop to make sure we understand which windows are open, which objects we're recording, and we'll also be communicating during bot deployment and downloading any packages and actions required for the bot task. The cloud-based control room itself has the editor, the available packages that we're using to control our bots, and also we can also store our bots online. There's no local bots in A2019. This is what the TaskBot workbench looks like. We'll go into this a little bit more during the demo, but you are able to record steps straight from the workbench, run your bot and debug your bot using the toolbar. And there's also a menu to enable us to investigate the packages the bot was built with, any dependencies the bot might have, as well as change any properties of the bots. And we can edit this from any device that supports, uses one of the browsers that we support. Scenario that we're going to go through today is called our IT Bricks scenario. IT Bricks is a holiday package company. It sells holiday packages for luxury resorts. And as part of this, we have a web portal where customers can log in and provide their details and stay requirements. And in their current process, the relationship manager helps to fill out that profile through emails and phone calls with their customers. And it requires a bit of effort on his part to get all the things involved with that. And then he usually stores the contents of those conversations into a spreadsheet. And then that spreadsheet is used to copy and paste information into a customer resource management application. This can be a time-consuming and manual process. What we're going to have our bot to do is we're going to log in, we're going to make sure our bot agent is registered, and then we're going to create our task bot, and we're going to extract information. Our task bot's going to extract information from the web portal into a CSV file. Open that CSV file and launch the CRM, and then populate the CRM web form via a loop that will populate the form using the bot. And then finally, after it's completed, it'll update the spreadsheet with the state of the information and then email that CSV file to the relationship manager. So let's get started. This is our web-based workbench. And in the workbench, I can use this to build a bot. I can minimize this features panel by coming and hovering over this arrow and clicking it. And then I have my list of actions, a variables list, the pane where we have either a flow, list, or dual view, and then our action details will be over here. To start our IT Bricks example, I'm going to start using a new package called Step, which allows us to create a block of code for each of the different parts of the bot. The first block of code we're going to use is to launch site and capture table. And then we're going to drag another step over to save file and close our window. And then a third step of our bot will be to loop through that data and enter it into the CRM. And then the final step we'll have to do is last step. We'll need to close all of our windows and send an email back to the relationship manager. So those are the 4 steps we want to do. We can see this in our flow view. our list view, which is just going to be an iterative list of steps, and then a dual view, which combines the best of both worlds. So we're going to start here, and we're going to start working just on our first step. So I'm going to minimize or collapse the different steps that we're not working on and just work on the first step. So the first step, we can search through our actions by typing something in the search bar. And the first actions we're going to do is launch our website. So we can type in part of a word, and it'll find those that match. And the first action that matches is the launch website action, which happens to be the one I want. We can drag that over, and then we need to provide a URL. The URL to start is our enrollment sheet, which tells us the people that have signed up for the holiday package. And I'm going to open this up in Internet Explorer. Now I can save this, and to make sure this runs correctly, I'm going to go ahead and save my bot and run the bot. And when I run the bot, it communicates with my bot agent. It's downloading any dependencies for this bot. It's going to do a little bit of pre-compiling and then run the bot. And as it runs the bot, it opens up the web page to the page I want. So this is where I want to start continuing building my bot. So if I come back to my Chrome browser and my Workbench, I can start off where I left. The next step is I want to capture that table. So I can type capture. And one of them is the recorder package has a capture action. And that allows me to capture elements from a web page. I can drag this down inside the step, and then it's asking me which window I would like to capture. So if I choose the window in the object detail and click on the refresh, it's going to communicate with my desktop to determine which windows I have open and which ones I would like to choose. So after that communication is finished, this website control will be populated with the windows open on my desktop. And that includes this IT Bricks Holiday Customer Report, which is the window I wanted to start. Now that I've identified the window, the capture button becomes enabled. And when I click it, it transfers control back to that web page. And then as I move my mouse, different elements on the screen become highlighted. And I just want to make sure that that table is completely highlighted. There's a thin red line around it. And when I click it, it's going to take a moment to capture that. It's going to take a picture of the screen and send me back to the Workbench. And I can see the picture of the screen. Down below all the elements of that capture, I have the action, and I need to choose what I want to do. And for an action, I'm going to choose the get table action, which will get all the population of the table, all the data, and store it in a new browser. So I'm going to click on create variable. I'm going to choose the data type as table, and I'm going to give this the variable name tcustomers. And then create that, and it automatically selects the variable here in the drop-down menu. Now that I have that, I'm finished with step one, which is just to launch site and capture the table. And I can open up my second step and start adding some commands into this step. For this step, I wanted to close my windows, save my file and close my windows. So I'm going to write that table to a CSV file. So there's a write to table from a data table. The data is stored in a data table variable, and I want to write that to a CSV file. So I drag over the data table write to file action. I choose the table from the drop-down list, and then put a path name for where I want to store this table. So I'm going to store it on my C drive, a bots directory, and then the file name is IT Bricks Customers CSV. If it doesn't exist, I can check the box to create those folders and files if they don't. And I can choose to overwrite this file every time I run the bot, which is what my selections will be. With that done, I can close that Internet Explorer window. So again, find my action for close. When I choose close, window is one of the options. And window close will close the actual window that's open. I can choose that window from the drop-down list. And it keeps track of previously selected windows, so I can choose the Holiday Customer Report and apply. Now, the third step is where all the actions go. So I'm going to collapse these two steps and expand the third step. And this is where I'm going to build the majority of this bot. In this bot, the first thing I'm going to do is open up that CSV file I just saved using Microsoft Excel. So Excel Advanced is the package I want to use. This opens up the Microsoft Excel application. And what I want to do is find the package that will do an open. So open, drag that into my step, and then choose desktop file as my file path and paste back in the file path I chose previously. I'm going to open this in read-write mode. And then also I'm going to come down and say that this sheet contains a header. When I do that, it's going to create in the CSV file, this first row of data will be available to me to identify the columns with. Now, also in this Excel spreadsheet, I want to start editing here so I can put in a status for each of the different values. So this is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. 2 will be where I want to start my cursor. So back in my workbench, after I've opened up Excel, apply that step, I want to go to the cell where I want to put my cursor. And the cursor I want to go to is cell G2. Now that I've got my spreadsheet set up, I want to open up my the new website where I'm going to be filling in the CRM. Pardon me. So I'm going to take a break from Excel and go to launch my website again. So launch. Here's launch website. And this URL is a little bit different. We're going to go to our CRM, our Customer Resource Manager. Again, I'm going to open it in Internet Explorer. And I'm going to move over to Internet Explorer and actually enter in that page here so I can start the next part of my bot. So next part of the bot is to fill in this form, which is several steps. I've got to put in information in each one of these fields and then register. And then I want to capture this status menu right here to get the information of whether or not that customer was successfully added or not. So back into my browser. At this point, I'm going to start a recording. So if I start the recording, it opens up and it asks me, which window do I want to record? So I can choose the Internet Explorer window that's open, the new Holiday Club sign up, and start my recording. When I start the recording, it moves to that page, and you can see that it's recording. I also get the indication of which object I'm going to be using. So I'm going to wait for that object to be highlighted, activate it, and then I'm going to type in just the first, wait for my cursor to show up, and then type in just the first part of the label. So there's the label for first name. Again, wait for the cursor, type in the next label, and continue that for each of the fields in this form. After I've filled in those fields, I'm going to click on register. And when I register the form, it tells me if the user information was saved or not, and I'm going to click on that field to record it. And when I'm done with that, I'm going to end the recording. Now when I record, it records all the steps outside at the bottom of the task. And I just need to move these steps by selecting one and then selecting the bottom with my shift key pressed, and they're all become selected. And now I can drag them up inside this part. We'll do it one at a time. Okay, so here we launched the website and we started our recorder. Before we do that, we're going to loop through these steps each time. So I need to add a loop element here. I'm going to drag my loop after the browser launch website. And the loop iterator I'm going to use is for each row in an Excel Advanced worksheet. And as I go through those rows, I'm going to record this into a record variable for customer. And then what I'll need to do is inside this loop, I'm going to have the record values for the row for each of those columns in this record variable. And for each one of these commands that I put inside my loop, I will need to come down and fill in this part of what the data is. The data I'm going to insert as part of the loop is the record variable. So if I press F2, I can get a list of variables, choose my record variable, and then I can click on by name and type in the column of that spreadsheet. So the first column is first name. And then I'm going to drag the next one over, come down to the bottom. I have two first names, so I can choose to remove one of those. Little artifact on my recording. Drag over my second one. This is for last name. So again, replace it with F2, record, by name, last name. Then I want to just make sure the titles are exactly the same as the columns. I can apply both those commands. Do my third one. And my third one is for the company name. So I'm going to remove everything, press F2, put a new browser, a new record in here by name for company. Do that 3 more times. Drag this up a bit. Drag this command here. Back on this command. Make sure you reply as you're doing your commands. Otherwise, it'll give you an indication that that command has not been saved. So here's the fourth command. Come down to the bottom. We have email, F2, record variable, by name, email was the column name. Couple more to do. This is the next one, which is phone number. So come down, clear out the file, press F2, choose the variable for phone number. Apply that. Choose the next one. This one is to put in the country name. So F2 on this one, include the record variable, and the name of the column here is country. Apply that. The next command I want to put inside the loop as well is to click the register button. And then the last command, I don't need to save anything there because I didn't make any changes. The last command is selecting this status number. And for this, I want to capture that value. And to do that, I'm going to drag down to the bottom and choose the action here will be to get property. Now the property I want, if I click on this and expand all the properties, I can see all their different values. And then what I want is to capture this user information saved, which is part of this HTML inner text label. So I can copy that label and then paste that property name here inside the property. So it's going to capture the value of the HTML inner text property, and I need to store it in a variable, and I can create that variable by clicking here. It'll create a variable of type string, and I'm going to call it S status as the name of my variable. When I select that, that ends the command for that. And now I'm finished filling out that form. After I fill out the form, I'm done with using my worksheet. So I'm done with my third step, and I can open and start filling out things in my final step. The last thing I want to do in this final step is actually go back to Excel. Oh, I forgot a step. One step I need to do after I get this message, I need to set that cell inside the loop. So coming back to Excel reminded me of that, and I'm going to come down here and say set cell, drag that inside the loop so I get a status every time I do it. The active cell is where I was at G2, and I'm just going to use my variable that I saved that status in as the new value in that cell. After setting that cell, I'll need to go to a new cell, and I could use the go to cell action we used before. And instead of going to a specific cell, I'm going to say active cell and choose one cell below. So as I go through the spreadsheet, it's going to write a value for each of these different columns into the form, and then it's going to set the value of the status message after I clicked it, and then go to the next cell so I'm ready to record the next step. Now in the final step, I can close and send email. So I want to save my worksheet. It's always important to save if I make any changes. So there's a save worksheet, and it just saves it according to the current session. And then I can come up and close my worksheet table. So that's going to close the website. I can also choose to save that again with the close action. And then finally, I want to be able to close my window. I've closed Excel with the close command, but I need to close my web browser as well. So I'm going to drag that over and make sure I choose the right window for my sign up. So we're not looking at the report, we're closing the sign up window, and I can apply and save that. The last thing I want to do after I've done all that is to send an email. So I can type send, and one of the actions is to send email. So I'm going to drag that over here. I'm going to populate the to address with my own email address. The subject is going to be that we've completed executing. In this time, I'm going to say holiday signups complete. I'm going to copy that desktop file that I made all the changes to, that CSV file. So I'm going to paste that in as the path. And then I'm going to just give a message. Please see the attached sheet. And I'm going to choose to send email via my Outlook account. So this is going to use my default Outlook profile to send the email with this attachment. And I can click apply. I want to quickly go through all the steps of my bot to make sure I don't have any that are still in a pending condition, that everything has been saved. I can go ahead and save my bot and then run my bot. And what this does is it takes all these actions and the packages that contain these actions, compile them together into a bot formatted file, downloads those and begins executing those on my current laptop. So it's captured that table. Now it's going to go through and open that CSV file and then paste in the values for each one of these. After it's done entering all the information, it's going to close all my windows, save my files, and then send me back an email with my actual registration of my information. And this window is still open from before. I get a success window here, and then I can actually see that my bot has sent me email with the correct attachment. Right here, I can preview that attachment and see that I got all the information, including the user information saved for each of the different rows that were there. That concludes the IT Barks example. Thank you for watching. Hope everybody has a great day, and go be great.